Hello everybody and welcome to the Tippie podcast. I'm Tippie and I'm here with Bill and Nic from Haku Expeditions from Peru, but we're here in Ecuador right now. We just rode today. We've been riding for a bunch of days and we are here in a farmhouse and we're going to do a podcast. This is the best tours in South America on mountain bikes that you can do. I've done a couple tours with them in Peru and now we're in Ecuador. They've done tours with Jordie Lunn, Geoff, Gulevich, Mark Matthews, Killian Braun, Casey Dean, a bunch of other people.
Tippie.
They're hardcore mountain bikers, and they have started a business taking people on tours. They love to ride. They ride big vertical, good riders, and they take people to the goods. And I'm happy to have you here on the podcast. How are you?
Thank you very much. We're good.
I'm feeling pretty good, man. Been riding a bunch.
We rode 23-kilometer downhill today. Pretty cool. 5,000 feet of descending.
Yeah, it was great.
Pretty slippery.
Yeah, a little slippery after the rain, but here we are. So you guys do tours, and you take people on big vertical rides, shuttles up, and rip down. Typically enduro bikes, trail bikes.
Yeah.
You guys both ride trail bikes.
Yeah.
And it's just an insane thing that you do. And I can't believe that you do this for a living. Well, I can't believe it, but I think it's awesome that you do.
Thanks.
And we want to hear all about how you do it and how this came to be. So tell us about where you're from, how you guys met, how you went to South America, and then I know you guys did missionary work for 7 years before you started doing tours, but tell us where you're from and how you guys met.
Okay. Go ahead, Nic. You're a way better talker than me.
We're from Buffalo, New York.
Yep.
We both lived away from Buffalo for a while and happened to be back in Buffalo living there for a period of time when we met. I had gone home from college to visit my mom. Hadn't lived home since I was 17. And I met Bill when I was there.
Drinking with my buddies at a sushi bar.
Okay.
Walked right in and I saw Nic and I was like, nice. So we hit it off a little bit. And then we went mountain biking for our first date, which was cool.
Yep.
Gave her my friend's beater bike with no brakes.
Champion.
Tested her out. No water.
See what she's really made of.
So at the end of the ride, I was like, wow, these brakes really don't work very good. And I had already told him like 3 times. He goes, oh, let me fix that for you. Like 5 minutes before the end of the ride. That's typical Bill. He really was testing me.
I love that. And where was that at?
Buffalo.
That was in outside of Buffalo. This place called Hunter's Creek.
Yeah.
It's the only really elevation gain or descent in the whole area. So we used to go there before work, ride a bunch, and then go to work feeling pretty good. So we did that for a while, and then, one thing led to another. Nicole asked me to marry her. First time in history. She forced me to marry her. So 17 years later.
First there was the engagement ring, then the wedding ring, then the suffering.
So we got married. We had a big party out in Allegheny State Park, which is outside of Buffalo, for a week. We mountain biking, 4-wheeling, tubing, rented the whole place. It was super cool. Cabins.
Like this kind of.
Had all our buddies out there. 2 weeks later, we left on our honeymoon. And haven't been back since. Still on it.
Wow. And did you go to South America riding or Nepal? Or where did you go?
Basically, we loaded up my truck. I had like this old Toyota straight axle 85 pickup, like old school.
Yeah.
We loaded up with all our gear, like our snowboarding gear, ski gear, our bikes.
Camping.
Put a bed in the back. Yeah. We drove all the way across the States, up into Vancouver. We were supposed to go to Alaska.
Yeah.
But the weather got bad. It was like November. So we went down to Durango, Colorado. And we lived there for 2 years.
Okay.
Before we came here.
Okay. Yeah. And then how did you end up in South America?
When we were talking about getting married, I was talking about traveling and how it would be great to, go to a country for 2 years and then move and kind of be on this never-ending traveling spree. And his sister knew of this Catholic mission in Peru. And because we said it would be nice, if we're traveling all over, to stop for a week here, a month there, and try to help when we can. And she was like, there's this place in the Andes, that's what she said, and they help kids. You're going to love it. You should check it out. So we got in touch with them and kind of we're going back and forth whether we really wanted to do that or not. And one day in Durango, I just stopped. We were on our cruisers going into town. And I was like, all right, Bill, just decide. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow you. Whatever you say, yes or no. And he goes, let's do it.
I don't remember that, but that's the truth.
I do.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was like, let's do it. And so we started selling all of our stuff. We sold everything except our bikes and our snowboards. And we drove back to Buffalo from Durango to put our stuff in storage and came down to South America with a kid, a 1-year-old kid.
Wow. And now you have 5 children.
We have 5.
There's no cable where I lived.
Yeah. And how old are they now?
5 to 15.
Okay. And you've got them mountain biking now. Riding bikes.
Yep.
And the oldest ones are mountain biking.
80%.
They all ride bikes except the oldest, although he will go if the 5-year-old goes, just to like be with him. He doesn't really like biking, but he's happy to go out with the family and like.
Amazing.
You know.
Yeah.
So you did missionary work for 7 years.
Yep.
And
It was supposed to be 2 years.
yeah.
You know, we came down there, we didn't know any Spanish at all. So we basically bounced off each other. You know, one week I'd be like, this is crazy, you know, let's go. And Nicole would be like, no, let's stay. And then she'd do the same thing.
Like a
so we got
month
through
later.
the first year. By that time, we had spoken Spanish. We had developed relationships with the people. So we stayed to 2 years. And after that, we stayed another
3.
5 years. For 7 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a 2-year commitment at first.
Yeah.
And then they send you back to your country. And you can either stay there or you can come back and re-up for like 3 years. So we came back and we did another 3 years. And then we went home again and you have the same option. You could stay home or you can come back. And we came back. We didn't make it another full 3 years. We made it 2.
Yeah.
But so it was a full 7 years.
While you were there, you were mountain biking for fun. You know, before it became a business, you were riding big vertical. You got to know, you know, the pickup
trails.
spots.
Wait a second. No, the pickup
Yeah.
spots? No, in that time there were no cars. We were pedaling the whole time.
You were pedaling
We
at
never
high elevation.
shuttled. We never
Cusco's the
shuttled
second
it.
highest.
We didn't believe in
city the
shuttling.
world.
Yeah, we made
We were
fun of
like,
shuttlers.
You climbed all that stuff.
Yeah, we would climb up to Radar.
What?
Well, to the middle of it, yeah. It would
Whoa.
take him like 2.5 hours, but for me to do the whole loop, it was like 4.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it was on little cross-country bikes.
Yeah. It's rocky in Peru too.
Yeah, this is why I couldn't do a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I was wasting all my time pedaling up, getting really tired, and then I get to the technical stuff with my little bars and my little tires, and I'm like, I don't know. And here he is at the bottom, go, would you just ride it?
Typical husband-wife mountain bike relationship.
Totally. So when did you start shuttling? You started shuttling when the tourists or before?
Once we started working with tourists, because the first few, we tried taking them riding, pedaling, and they would pretty much die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we realized we can't pedal up with them. You know, it's 4,000 feet at 11,000 feet. You know, it's a lot.
And we're talking about people who are like, I do triathlons, I bike all the time. And so we'd be like, okay, let's go up to Radar. And we'd be a quarter of the way up. And they'd go, are we almost there yet? And I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
We
need
then we
to shuttle
learned.
these
Yeah, it
people.
only took like 2 or 3 times of taking people out pedaling. Then we were like, okay, let's shuttle.
Wow.
And then my riding changed once I started shuttling.
Well, you get so much mileage, right? And so much terrain under your tires. So how did you decide to start doing tours with people and turn it into a business?
It's a whole other story. Go ahead, Nick.
So what happened was when we were leaving the mission, we had nothing because everything that we had like accumulated in Peru was basically theirs. You know, we lived in their houses and so when we left, we couldn't really open an agency. It required too much capital, you know. But this was a funny thing. We had no idea what we were going to do. We knew we were going to leave. He saw a picture of his buddy over PSAC and was like, oh, I live in Peru. And he's like, oh, let's meet up. So he went all the way from the country where we were living into town to meet up with him. And before he walks in, he goes, he's going to tell me something really important that's going to help us out. And that night, he told me about Air BnB when it was like just starting to boom.
Okay.
And nobody in Cusco knew about it.
Yeah.
And Bill didn't leave in time to get back home, so he stayed in the Airbnb. And he talked to the host and stuff, and he's like, Nick, I think we should do Airbnb. So we looked for a city center house where people could just walk, and it was big, and found one and started an Airbnb. That's what the first thing we did.
We had like 3,000 people come there in over 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
They lived with
every
our
day
family.
cooking breakfast for them.
It was all of us.
Yeah.
4 kids at that time.
Okay.
And we'd have like 15 people at the breakfast table.
Yeah.
Travelers,
Serving them.
all travelers.
And they'd always
yeah.
ask for tours. They'd be like, what do we do today?
Exactly.
Well, you want to go mountain biking, 4-wheeling, zip lining,
Horseback
go to
riding.
Machu Picchu.
So you're giving the business away to other people?
Just giving numbers away,
Yeah.
contacts and stuff. And we always had contacts for like people to go do Salcantay, you know, somebody to go with horses
Camping,
or cook or whatever. And we
Trekking.
would just send people. We were like, we should do this formally. That this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, we're buying Machu Picchu tickets, we're organizing taxis and pickups and all this
But
stuff.
you didn't want to go hiking, you wanted to go biking. So you started a mountain biking tour company.
So there's more to that.
Yeah.
So one of our guests who came and did our very first tour, a day in the life tour that we had come up with, So we had some friends in the countryside and we were saying goodbye to them to move back into Cusco. And while we were eating there with guinea pigs, you've eaten there at Juana's house. There's guinea pigs running around at the floor and stuff. And we're saying goodbye. And we were like, tourists would love this. They would love this. This is the real deal. This is how people live. Having lunch with these people.
Culture.
So like the day in the life tour took like Root and 2 people who we met on Salcantay. They did it. They did that tour, and they told us about Alistar in Bolivia because we said, "Oh, we'd love to start doing mountain biking." They were like, "You gotta talk to Alistar. He has a company in Bolivia." So we called him up, and we were like, "So, what's the deal with running a mountain bike company?" And he was like, and then starts telling us some cool advice, And he calls us up like 3 months later and is like, "So my guy in Peru, he's moving back to the States. You guys want to run Gravity?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I don't know. Bill, what should we do?" I mean, all the tours we were running was like, okay, you want Machu Picchu? Send me the money. I buy the tickets. Here's your tickets. Oh, you want Salcantay? Send me the money. I set the thing up. Here's your tour. But biking is like extra small, medium, large, extra large bike in 2 or 3 of each one, plus all the same size helmets and pads, and it's so much money.
Yeah.
To get involved. So we like debated for about 6 months going back and forth, and he kept going, "You can just sell the stuff." He's like, "You're not going to lose out. If it doesn't work, you can just sell the stuff." So we did it. We bit the bullet and bought 2 bikes. And we're like, we'll just start slow. And like every month buying like a helmet or a pair of knee pads or whatever, gloves. And that's how it started.
Mom and pop shop.
The biking part is taking over Gravity.
Okay.
And Gravity has a name, so we'd get people calling us all the time to do like full day rides. And so we just started taking people out to do Lades or Lamai or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how that started.
But shuttling up. Yeah.
Shuttling up.
Because you'd ridden up there for so many years, but then you had to learn the roads and how to get vehicles to the points, and then the pickup spots, and then you'd hire drivers.
Yep.
And then when we went, they were super dialed. There, everyone was always where they were supposed to be, and in these huge mountains, the Andes, it was super dialed. But it took a while to get there. So, how did it progress then from like 2 bikes then up to doing tours? Like how did you bring pro riders on for the first time? As opposed to just doing it for yourselves. Okay, so how many years did you do it before you brought pro riders on?
So what had happened was right when we were starting the agency, probably at the end of 2014, beginning of 2015, Ali Goulet came out with a group of riders to do the Inca Avalanche Trail Festival, which is where you ride for like 5 days.
He's an ex-pro snowboarder too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
amazing mountain
from Utah.
Yeah.
Good dude.
So he brought a group out.
Likes fast cars.
He likes fast cars?
Yeah.
Don't all boys like fast cars?
Yeah, totally.
So he brought a group out, and we knew all the trails in the South Valley because that's where we lived. But this was going to be in the Sacred Valley, trails that we didn't know. So I contacted him, was like, I'd love to go and jump on this trip. And throughout the trip, one day, one of the guys was like talking about Mitch, how he's a pro mountain biker. I was like, what? No. What do you mean a pro mountain biker? Like, that's his job? And he was like, didn't you see his hat? And I was like, oh, I guess not. What's that mean? There's like 20 people in the world with that hat. And it was a Red Bull Rampage hat. So that's
true. He's been in Rampage.
Yeah, right. So we had already become really good friends on the trip, and so we stayed in contact, and I kept inviting him down. And we had just started with 2 bikes, and I was like, we just opened our agency. But by the time he came back, like 2 years later, we'd been running tours, and we had experience with the bikes and the cars and the guides and the whole shebang. So he came back, and he was like, yes, that's something cool up for me. And I was like, great. So I'm thinking Austin Gate and this and that, and he sends me an email. I was like, oh, can my buddy Geoff come? I was like, yeah, of course, whoever can come. Next thing I know, he's like, can my buddy Casey come? Sure. And so he ends up showing up with Casey Dean and Margus Riga and Geoff Gulevich and who else?
Mitch.
Oh, yeah, and Mitch, yeah. Okay, so they show up, and that's how we became friends with all those guys. And at the same time, Killian Braun was around, or was that the year before?
Yeah, he came down at the same time.
And Killian Braun asked us to take him to do some kind of crazy mission, and they went to Austin-Gate and rode some scree fields, and so it just kind of started like that, and took off, just by being friends with Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, maybe we should bring more pro riders down and have them go with the group.
Well, you know what happened was when Killian was there, so Tim at the time was like 10, and he was like, oh, yeah, let's go ride with these guys. He was all stoked, yeah. So we go out to ride, and we get on Yuncay-Pata, and we're like, I don't know, 5 minutes in, and it's like, stop, set up the drone, fly the drone, okay, hike back up, do it again. And Tim and I are just like, wow, this isn't really that much fun, right?
It was a shoot, not a ride.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah. So I kind of was thinking how it would be really cool to bring pro riders down where they get to ride, just ride and not focus on shooting. People can come ride with them, see what it's like to travel to different parts of the world and see the world on two wheels and go out to eat and have good food and just have a really cool vacation where everybody just has fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I talked to Gully about it. He kind of had the same idea going in his head, and we made the first trip happen in November.
I remember seeing it because he posted it on Instagram.
Yeah.
It had already been, Instagram was around and getting rolling.
I didn't even think about it as marketing. Like, I really was just like, oh, it would be so cool if you came down here and we got some people and you announced it. And then he came and all of a sudden I was like, oh, wow, I'm getting some followers.
Yeah. And business.
Yeah, business.
Yeah,
so, like,
sure.
it didn't start off as any kind of, like, idea for marketing for Haku. It was just this idea of, like, riding bikes and having fun and doing these tours together.
Yeah. So then who was the next pro that you had join your tours?
So he came down, I think he had come down a second time when I was like, oh, I'd like to bring somebody else down in a different time of year, and I know you can't come this
Somebody
year.
really funny.
Yeah.
That loves a bike too.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what we said?
He
Somebody
said,
funny?
Brett Tippie.
He did. He was like, Tippie's the man for you. He's like, I think you should get in contact with him. I didn't even know who you were.
Yeah.
I didn't really know who any pro riders were ever. When
Should
Geoff
not
came, I
have
didn't
said
know
that.
who he was. He was just like, I didn't know.
I knew who you were.
Yeah, okay, good.
You did?
Yeah, of course.
I'm just being honest here.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
But then we got in contact and that happened. And then the next person who came was Michele Gatto.
Okay.
And we definitely are in talks with multiple people about coming next year. Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru.
Yeah.
So keep that a secret.
Yeah,
That is.
on the Brit TV podcast out there to everybody.
Know who it is. Keep that a secret.
Oh, I see.
Who it is.
The next pro, okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember coming down with you guys, and it was a long flight down here, but not too crazy, but a bit of an adventure. And I'd never, I'd never been to South America before, and I got picked up by a guy with my name and driven to your guys' place, and I met you guys, and we got along right away, and we had an amazing group of people show up. There was my buddy Feds was there, and Jamie from England, and
Jamie.
Vanessa Voss from Vancouver. She was a good rider.
Claire.
And cool. Claire Miller from Scotland, and people were going through different things in their life, and they were like ready to make this journey and have a crazy time, and we did.
Yeah.
And I remember singing Bob Marley songs, and we changed it from No Women No Cry to No Llama No Cry. And everyone's like, No Llama No Cry, and we're just like
Well, they all
doing
cried.
these huge rides.
That was going to
Llamas all
Hoochie
around.
Cusco. We were going to Hoochie Cusco, and so there would be tons of alpacas and llamas there.
Where did we all go on that ride? Like,
was Hoochie
describe some
Cusco.
of these rides and how much vertical they are and how big they are and how awesome they are.
In Peru. So you went to Lares and Lamay. Each one of those is about 1,300 meters.
That's the only one we did twice.
4,500 feet.
Everything else was a
5,000
different
feet.
ride every day.
Yep.
How big is that?
4,500 feet, 5,000 feet,
Yeah.
1,200, 1,400 meters each one.
Yeah,
Yep.
legit.
Single track.
So we do about 8,000 feet
Inca
of descent in a
trail.
day
Yeah.
with the two trails. We definitely did Pumamarca, and we did Hoochie Cusco. We did
Radar. That's a big one.
Radar, which is like
1,400
starts.
meters.
Yeah, that starts at 4,666.
4,444 meters, Nicole.
There you go. He's got it. He's the best guide ever. I pull out my phone.
Yeah, right. But I remember like, I was thinking like we're riding there, and I was thinking you got to be a pretty good rider to be here. Like, do you screen your riders to make sure that they're good enough to handle it? Because you don't want
What kind of
to
bike?
hurt
Where do you
anybody.
live? How long you been riding?
Yep.
Yeah.
People lie though.
Well, or
and
maybe
embellish their skills.
or maybe they know the jargon, and we
Don't
think,
they always?
A little bit, yeah.
Because you get different answers. You'll be like, what kind of bike do you ride? And then there's one that's like a full suspension. And you're like, oh. And then somebody will be like, oh, I have my... And they list everything with the wheel size and the brakes and everything. And
down to the millimeter.
so you kind of are assuming that person is a rider, but oftentimes it slips through the crack that they're not. They're like...
Just a bike nerd.
Yeah, they're a bike nerd, but they don't have the skills. But yeah, we ask all kinds of stuff. Where do you ride? Where in the country? What kind of trails? What kind of bike do you own? What are your strengths and weaknesses for the longer tours?
Yeah.
Do you have any plates in your body?
Yeah. I don't think you have enough plates. You haven't damaged yourself enough. Wow. But, you know, you don't have to be like a pro. You have to be a strong
intermediate plus.
Intermediate plus.
Intermediate tech,
That's what you call it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I remember being, you know, quite technical. There'd be flowy sections, and thank God we weren't climbing. We were shuttling up, and then, you know, there'd be some climbs, but it was mostly like, I wouldn't say downhill.
Mostly downhill.
Yeah, it was pretty much downhill.
Yeah,
but not like gnarly downhill,
not gnarly
like this
downhill.
the whole time, just going down
There was lots
all the
of cool,
time.
smooth, flowy trail,
parts,
some technical sections, and then flowy again. And
a good mix.
There's a lot of
It's
exposure.
raw.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Which
of
is cool.
exposure.
Yeah.
The trails are totally raw.
Yeah.
Not maintained.
Yeah.
Loose rocks.
It's not bike park. It's
not
Andes.
bike
Park, yeah.
It's real mountain biking.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about it. And another thing I loved about, you know, that first tour I did with you, and every tour, is that, you know, we stayed at hotels and ate at hotels and restaurants, but we also stayed but we ate at a friend of yours who had a dirt floor farm, and they had guinea pig, you know, it's a koi?
Kui. Yeah.
Kui?
That's from us living.
Yeah.
That's from us living here before working in tourism. We realized how important it was for the people to actually see the Peruvian or Ecuadorian or Nepalese culture, you know?
Yeah.
To see...
You get
to see how the people
to be
live
in their
yeah.
house, in the farmhouse. And,
Too many people just
a traveler, not a
Picchu.
tourist.
Yeah.
The real deal.
No,
The real deal.
no tourist buses.
Yeah.
You know, riding trails in the middle of nowhere, driving up roads no one else drives up.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that the people we work with are real people. So there's a lot of tourism vivencial where it's completely set up for tourists. So I went with one bike group once, and we sat down to eat, and they gave us all these perfect ceramic plates, and I was like, local homes don't have these. You know,
This
like...
is the real
Yeah, and the food they
here.
gave us, you could tell it was like things that they thought tourists would like, and I was just like... That's just not what we offer. Like, we go right into the home. They don't change anything for us. The only thing we ask is that they're a little bit more hygienic with, like, the plates and drying everything off and for the food that they're going to eat. But they don't change anything about the way they live, their house, the style.
Which I thought was awesome. It was like a real adventure and really being there. But then again, the next night would be in a 4 or 5 star hotel restaurant and
eating
just
killer cuisine.
Yes.
That's important too.
Yeah.
That's why you're there too. Like
Exactly.
Peruvian
And so
cuisine,
you have a
South
mix
American
of this,
cuisine,
which I thought was really, really cool. Yeah.
Kind of like here right now, where we're staying in this kind of like
Smurf Village.
Smurf village.
Is it all these little farmhouses?
This like
done up nice. And what's this place called we're at right now?
How do you say it? La Gelina?
La Guardiana. La Guardlana.
Can I get some help? Gilena. La Gilena.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's rustic and authentic here.
But outside of here, we were in hotels.
Yeah.
And eating where our steaks were being blown up with fire. The other
Party
day,
hostels.
So it's just like kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's the best way to see a country. If you want to travel and you love mountain biking, to go to any one of these countries that we go to on a mountain bike is like the best experience.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it's the way to do it.
Totally.
Most people, once they do it once, like one of these 7 or 10 day trips, after that, all their vacations include their bike.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be like, this is the first time I've ever traveled with my bike. And then 3 years later, you're like, yeah, I've already gone here, and where are we going next? And people love it. It's just a great way to see a country.
Yeah.
So this first journey was so amazing to me because we rode a lot. Like I don't know how many brake pads I went through, but it was a lot, and it was like not easy. It was technical and challenging. We got some good photos. I got some good GoPro footage, and that's good for a pro. So it helped out my little social media marketing splurge, and then I try to help you guys out and bring some more customers. And people see it, and that's how it happens, right? It's rolling.
It's a mountain bike scene.
Yeah. Join the community.
We decided to do this again and work together again. But then you told me that we've got a few customers here. I'd like to bring another pro down. Who do you recommend? And I was like, Jordie Lunn. And you're like, Jordie Lunn? You're like, wait a minute. I could hear you Googling the other side. And you went, oh my God, no way. He looks like a gangster.
So wait.
And I was like, no. He's a sweetheart.
That is what happened, Nicole.
It is, but I had just heard of Jordie Lunn like a little bit before, like a month before.
From the roughest.
From whatever, but I just remember
Yeah.
the canine teeth and stuff, and so I was just like, oh, what? You said somebody else last year. You were suggesting somebody else.
No, I just thought Jordie would be awesome because he was so good with people.
Yeah, you
and
know him. You were
just a sweetheart.
right.
And he was
was.
like, he was on the YT team and an old buddy of mine, and then you were like, I don't know, Tippie. And then I was like, trust me. Do you trust me? Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, and I still was like, I don't know.
And then he came down.
Yeah, and he
was awesome.
He's such a big teddy bear.
Yeah,
The
with
gentle
the guests
giant.
and with the
A
kids.
gentle
And
giant.
a ripper, you know.
Totally.
Tim took him out. The very first day I have a picture of him and Tim out on the streets.
Yeah.
Tim takes everybody out.
Yeah.
Like a little guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Had
he's
his
so
own
good with
style.
kids.
Your children are very confident and like
They're little
like-
tour guides.
little tour guides. Yeah.
Tim
they're
is
all
for
doing
sure.
well. Yeah.
They speak both languages. Little Peruvians know everything about how everything works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How to
they'll take you
bargain.
out, have a good time.
Yeah.
They won't let the taxi driver charge you too much, and they'll
Yeah.
bargain for you in the market and show you where the cool places are in town and where to exchange money.
Worldwide.
Well, Tim does at
Worldwide.
least, yeah.
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 Mm.
It's just really safe there
Yeah.
in Cusco.
Yeah.
So it's easy for our kids to go out on their own, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I really liked it there. And it actually is the second highest city in the world. So you're up there, right in the
We're up
mountains.
there.
So you're going to the spots and you don't have to go that far really from there. And
Yeah.
you're just riding.
Right?
But we also rode in the Sacred Valley,
Yep.
which was like a bit of a drive. And then we went and stayed somewhere else in this little like courtyard with like these rooms, and it was built out of stones, and it was,
Is it Ollanta?
Yeah.
Probably? Uh-huh.
yeah, and that was awesome,
Yeah.
you know.
It's a cool place, Sacred Valley.
Oh,
An
amazing.
amazing
Like
riding.
the Inca roads.
Some
Tell
of
us
the
about
best
the Inca
riding in the world.
roads there.
Capañan.
Tons Inca Trail, tons of wicked downhills,
Yeah.
awesome weather, awesome food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool place to be.
You know, for a long time there weren't roads in Peru. Like a lot of people talk about, you know, only 20 years ago how it would take like 20 hours to get somewhere that now takes you 5. And so basically you have all these villages dotted all over the Andes, and the people have their farmland and they need to get their stuff to the market, or they need to buy stuff at the market. So they walk. They just walk or take their animals. So they've paved these trails that are totally raw but
No.
perfectly fine for biking.
And it's dry
Just with
there,
their
so they don't
feet.
get overgrown.
You
Yeah.
know, by walking with their animals. You know, they have like 20 sheep and they're walking all the way down into town, or with 2 donkeys and potatoes. And so it's thanks to them that we have all these really long trails that go from villages way up in the Andes all the way down into the main towns.
Yeah.
You know.
And they have done like rock lattice work in
That's the
spots as
Inca.
well.
That's the Inca Trail sections.
Yeah.
So there's more than like 40,000 kilometers of Capañan, which is Inca Trail that spreads through the Andes.
Yeah.
People always think there's one Inca Trail that like goes to Machu Picchu, which they pay a lot of money to do. But there's Inca Trails everywhere.
Yeah.
So most of the time when you go in any valley, you'll see some or find some, at least in
Because they're built well.
They're built well.
around. They've been around for how long?
500 years.
more than that.
Yeah.
More than that.
Yeah, probably longer than that.
Because it's
yeah.
definitely pre-Inca.
A lot of it's pre-Inca.
Yeah.
I think they
Spanish
just
have-
get the credit because they were the ones who were conquered. so-
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Who knows, you know?
But they're
Right.
pre-Inca. And the Spanish, when they came, they said they were better roads than they had in Spain. That's
Amazing.
what they said.
Yeah.
And today they're still super packed down and on the sides of mountains and completely
Oh, yeah.
intact.
Yeah.
I think the Incas had mountain bikes.
They must have.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's a higher power.
We just
there.
lost that link
Yeah.
somewhere.
Where's the paintings on the rock walls?
We'll find them or I'll make them.
Yeah, exactly. News discovery. Newsflash on the Brett TV podcast.
Specialized Inca.
A really cool thing we did at the end of the second tour, and you took Jordie and I and a couple other guys who decided to do the special bonus journey.
Expedition.
The expedition up and over the Osengate Pass, and you had horses hired and a cook, and all the clothing and the water and the food was carried by these horses. We just had to push our bikes and then ride our bikes.
Whoa, I had somebody to help with the bikes a little too, didn't
Oh
I?
yeah, no, yeah, and you had people there to
Okay.
help push the bikes
Yeah,
too,
uh-huh.
because it was high elevation. We
Yeah.
went up to, I believe it was 16,400 feet,
Yeah.
and we did a 3-day camping trip up and over the pass. No Wi-Fi, no nothing except for the mountains.
Free ride heaven.
Free ride heaven.
Yeah.
And we shot a video there with Andrew Young,
Yeah.
and it was a mind-blowing experience. Like the stars were so clear, and we're just like picking lines, and we just cruised around, and you know, after riding all day, let's camp.
Right there.
That valley or that valley? Where do you want to go? Let's go there. Okay, so we'd camp there by the lake. Boom, and it was mind blowing. It was a trip of a lifetime for me. And Jordie and I were riding lines, and
Jordie was hucking just crazy things I wouldn't even imagine hucking.
oh, he jumped off some rocks, and
Yeah,
he
just-
built some booters, and
Yeah, with his camo jacket.
yeah. Oh, that's great. So I go. What color jacket did you bring? And he's like, I didn't bring a jacket. And I'm like, you didn't
For
bring
the
a jacket?
expedition.
I go, dude, we're going to 16,400 feet. Last time I was here, it snowed on us. And he's like, oh, I guess I should get a jacket then. I go, yeah, well, don't get red. I got red. And he's like, okay. And so he comes back a few hours later. I see him like, hey, what color jacket did you get? And he goes, green camouflage. And I'm like, ha, ha, ha. No, seriously, what color jacket did you get? And he goes, green camouflage. And I'm like, you did not. He goes, I did. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, well, he's not getting published.
Right.
He's going to be, you can't even see him in the photos, right?
Yeah.
And Steve Shannon was along with us as well as a photographer.
Yeah.
And
we went to the Red Mountain.
Yeah.
And he stuck out like a sore thumb.
So as we're getting up there, I'm just like going, oh, Jordie, dude. And he's like, don't worry about it, bro. And I'm like, it'll be okay. And I'm like, okay. I guess I'm getting published myself from the street. As we get higher and higher up into the mountains, we turn into these giant red mountains. My red jacket is camouflaged in, and his green camouflage jacket totally popped in the photos.
That's right. So that's the picture that we have coming down that big red mountain is him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh my God. So
That was
funny.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So that
times.
was an additional part. That wasn't really part of the Osengate thing. That was thrown on last minute, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. We wanted to hit some big screen lines, and Killian Braun had been there before already. Got there.
Beat you to it.
Beat me to it. Because I remember carving turns down those things. They were so big,
Yeah,
so
so
long,
sick.
just like big. Not even GS turns, like super G turns.
Yeah.
Just what? You got your outside foot down, and you're just like flying down. There's gravel flying, just
It's
arcing
insane.
turns.
500 meters,
Yeah,
but all scree.
and a nice
Steep,
pitch.
steep sections.
Oh yeah, and beautiful.
That's sick out there.
Yeah, so that was a good journey, and sad to say that was the second last that trip that Jordie ever made, and I was happy to have that time with him, and I'm glad that you guys got to meet him, and
for sure.
and all our guests got to meet him and whatnot, and
Really
Super special.
times.
very special time.
Yeah.
So after that, COVID hit,
Oh yeah.
and you guys couldn't work for a while, I'm sure, because there was no guests and stuff, so it was a really tough time.
Borders were closed. So
And the borders closed. People couldn't even get to
the
you.
president of Peru literally announced at like 8 o'clock at night that he was going to close the borders in 24 hours. And we had clients. We had clients there with us, and we called them up and we're like, did you hear that they're closing the border? And she grabbed her stuff and shot to the airport and spent like $2,000 to get out of the country. And got out, but people were stuck there. Tons of people were stuck there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It
we
was,
couldn't
it was
run
a
any
police
tourism.
state. It was
It was a
horrible.
police state.
Yeah.
We were locked down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 5 kids to feed.
Yeah.
And they couldn't go outside.
Yeah, I
for
almost
3
sold
months.
one of them. Just kidding. That stays here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Except for all the listeners.
Stays here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we moved to the Sega Valley.
So we moved to the Sierra Valley.
Because
Out of the city, out of Cusco.
Yeah.
we had always wanted to move there, but we had a lot of walk-in customers because we run Gravity.
Yeah.
And so they show up at the door, they knock on the door and go, I want to ride tomorrow. So we couldn't leave the city because of that, and then the kids were in school. And so there wasn't school, there wasn't any work, and we were like, let's go to the
We were
Valley.
locked down in the city too, so the
couldn't
countryside's
go
a
out
little
at
more chill,
Totally, right? And safer. You're away
Safer.
from people who
Safer.
might have COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, so now we're in the Sega Valley.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then as things opened up, you reached out to me about doing a trip, and I was like, yeah.
Let's do
No,
it.
I didn't ask you if you wanted to do a trip. You said, Sarah, hey, when can I go to Peru? And I was like, oh, Brett wants to do a trip.
Oh,
Great.
did I ask my wife?
That's what you did.
Like a good
Really?
boy.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
And I was like, okay, Brett wants to come back. I was like, Bill, Brett wants to come.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So I put it on Instagram. We got a few customers, and we decided to go somewhere different, and we said Ecuador. And you guys wanted to expand to different places.
Yeah.
And you've done some recon already, some R&D, research and development, some riding.
Bill came down and did a lot of riding last.
Plus, we've
before
made a
the
lot of
pandemic.
contacts through the years. We've had like Ecuadorian racers stay at our house in Cusco while there's races. We had Gabo's helped us out a bunch. He came down and lived
From
in Cusco.
Radar?
Yep.
From Radar.
He lived with us.
He lived with us for a while.
Radar MTB, is that what it is?
Yep. Gabo Diaz.
Got it this time.
Escobar.
Yeah.
If I have it correct. I better also kill me.
So why Ecuador? Tell us about Ecuador. It's obviously I'm seeing it. It's beautiful, but tell the people why Ecuador.
Well, one thing, it's the Andes,
Yeah.
big mountains.
It's close.
That's what we're after.
It's very
Single
close to
track
Peru.
Yeah.
culture. It's close to Peru.
Yeah.
You know, we have Peru really well dialed. We've been there for a long time. We can run trips there for any amount of people, any amount of time, you know.
Without being there.
So we just thought, you know, expand.
You've got
that.
people that
Yeah.
that are so dialed in.
Yeah, our guides, our drivers, our secretary.
But
like,
you usually
people-
are there because you like to ride.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah. So
we don't
I
do
mean,
hiking trips.
Yeah, right.
We just send them out with guides.
Yeah.
Go
yeah.
ahead, sorry.
So big mountains, Andes.
Yep.
You know, awesome scenery.
Can
sick
ride
trails.
with a car.
A little bit different than Peru. I mean, Peru does have its tropical side, but Ecuador is a small country. You know, it's the size of Colorado. It's the 9th most diverse country in the world. So it has, like, you can go from High Sierra, next to volcanoes, all the way down to banana plantations, you know.
Or the
Yeah.
coast
Or
in a
the
very
coast,
small amount of
you
time.
know.
Peru, it
So-
takes 24 hours to get to the coast from where we are. And it takes like 8 hours to get into the
Because
jungle.
it's huge.
Because it's huge.
This is a smaller country.
It's a smaller
with
country.
a huge variety in
Yes.
a small area.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which is
Same timeline,
Amazing.
same language.
And I
Just
mean,
like, I don't know, it's an opportunity, you know, it's a chance, you know. It's
to
one
do
of those
something
things,
different.
Yeah.
But the other thing, really, that thing about the cars isn't a joke. There's not a lot of places that you can get these size downhills where you can ride with a car. Peru, you can, and we thought in Nepal you could, but we couldn't. You had to hike the bike, and in Colombia you have to pedal a lot. So this is another place where you can do a lot of big vertical shuttle riding.
Nepal, you do lots of downhill.
No, you
too.
do, but you had to get
There's
to
some
some of the
pedaling
bigger
for
ones.
sure.
You had to hike a bike or pedal up.
Yeah, we just got hit with bad weather too sometimes, so that happens.
That was an adventure with
Big
Gully.
mountain.
Did you hear
Big
about
weather.
that?
I've heard about that, yeah. Yeah.
We're all like
Well, that's-
huddled up in a
Yeah.
hut, freezing at the top of a mountain.
Yeah, it's like a little more adventurous. Some people are prepared down.
It was a guy's trip.
But here, we're going up in vans. We went up to
Yeah.
15,000 feet a couple days ago on Cotopaxi, the biggest active volcano in the world. And we rode like 2,500 foot runs. We loved it so much we did another one.
Holy Trail.
The Holy Ridge,
Yeah,
Holy
Holy
Ridge,
Ridge.
which
That's
was
great. That's
insane.
amazing.
Check it out on my Instagram.
With wild horses running all
That's some of
over
the
the
guys
place.
Yeah.
Did you see the wild
oh, yeah,
horses?
the wild horses running around and condors flying overhead.
Yeah.
Like, it's the real deal. It's,
the real
absolutely
deal.
amazing.
And then today we saw vicuñas.
Yeah.
We have vicuñas in Peru, but I've
Which
never
are like
seen
what,
them.
alpacas, kind of different type of alpaca.
They're a camelid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But softer. And what didn't the king would only wear?
Yep. So
Their-
the Inca,
their fur?
yep, the head Inca, the Inca king, only wore vicuña rope clothing.
And you don't see, if you only seen them 5 times, and today we saw a bunch of them.
So
Today we saw
50
over, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say 100, but yeah,
Yeah.
we saw a lot.
Definitely dozens of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after we did the Cotopaxi volcano, we went to the Cotopaxi bike park.
That's right.
And they met those guys, or you knew them, and nice wicked berms and jumps. And
Great.
Pine Forest.
there seems to be a lot more dirt here in Ecuador than Peru.
Yeah.
So people can build jumps, and there's nice slashy berms. As well, we went to the Santa Rita bike park.
Yeah, that was great too.
With
Different
Tacho
style.
Yeah.
and Bill, the owner of the land, and that's kind of like a sanctuary where they have like so many natural different fauna and plants
Yeah.
and like
Hummingbirds.
15 types of hummingbirds and actually pumas and wild pigs and
And they're trying to
skunks
work
and-
to conserve that and keep it like that. They don't want it to end up getting sold and built on. So they're really working to try and keep that
That's right.
like a reserve.
Yeah.
You know.
And so where else have we gone on trips since Santa Rita and the Cotopaxi?
We went to
bike park?
Baños.
Baños,
We went to
yeah.
Baños and Ambato.
Okay. A couple different places, and we had some nice hotels there we stayed in, and then some, again, 2,500, 3,000 foot descents right there. And you guys have had some drivers hired, so we were just like shuttling and
Yeah.
pounding downhills.
That's what we like to do.
Yeah. Me too.
That's what you like to do.
I know, right? And then we did a big one today. Tell us about today. This was another volcano? Was it a volcano above us?
Chimborazo supposedly is no longer active. So some people call it a mountain, other people just say that it's inactive.
How do you say it again? Chimborazo.
Chimborazo.
Yeah.
Chimborazo.
So we got shuttled up. Unfortunately, we couldn't see the mountain because it was a bit cloudy up there. We're up
Because
high.
it's the tropics.
But it wasn't raining.
Right?
And we were up probably 5,000 feet, and we rode 23 kilometers of downhill.
Yeah. Wait, there was a few.
A few little climbs, but
little
there always
climbs.
is in the mountains. But it was basically a 23 kilometer downhill.
Yeah.
And people
From
were
gravelly volcanic
stoked.
stone to black dirt.
Yeah,
sliding,
it's really
slippery.
lush,
Yeah.
jungly.
It was sick.
And through all these bioclimatic zones, you
Yeah.
know, and different plants and stuff, like in the alpine down into the more greener areas. It was
amazing.
It was insane.
At the top, when it was all that like volcanic rock and there were just all those vicuñas, it was just like, where are we? This is surreal.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And so then we arrived tonight, and we're in this farmhouse, and they've got this little Smurf village of little farmhouses that are all done nice with warm water and electricity, and we had a food like soup and a nice little stew waiting when we arrived, and it's just everything you want: shredding and eating, and a nice place to stay, you know? and a varied mix of places to stay. So we're gonna go have dinner in a little bit, and then what are we doing tomorrow? Tomorrow's a big one, isn't it?
Mama Rumi.
Most famous trails in Ecuador.
Yeah.
So isn't this a trail that was once like a alcohol smuggling route, and it's in a valley where people couldn't see them take alcohol from the ocean into the cities?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah.
So we're gonna.
That's the rumor I've heard.
Yeah.
And then the grandson of the guy who used to smuggle all this booze back in the day is into mountain biking, and he helped turn it into a mountain bike trail.
That's
and it's
cool.
supposed to, like, everyone's going, you got to go there, you got to go to Mama Rumi. That's all I'm getting.
Yeah. Claire, when she was riding with us, remember they were planning Ecuador? They were looking to do mountain biking. They couldn't find any operators to do it. Everybody just did the roads, and the only thing they like really read about was Mama Rumi. They were like, how can we get to Mama Rumi?
Yeah.
How are we going to get there? Who's going to take us there?
And what are the numbers on this one? This is a 7,000 foot descent?
7,000 feet over 7 miles.
7,000 feet over 7 miles? This is going to be insane tomorrow. I am jazzed.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's from, 14,000 feet all the way down banana plantations. Jungle.
Wow.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Ecuadorian bananas.
Wow. Alpine into the jungle.
Yeah.
Cool. And then what other places are we going to hit before this 10-day tour is over?
So then we're going to go to Cuenca. So tomorrow we'll arrive in Cuenca and we'll have 2 days there. And that'll be our last 2 days of riding.
Okay.
And then have been 8 full days of riding.
Oh, okay.
Some 9 who did that telefericos.
On day 0.
On day,
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Cuenca. And then after that we fly out of Guayaquil. So we'll have gone from Quito all the way to Guayaquil. So we'll have pretty much crossed most of the country.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but a good part of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And sample a whole bunch of it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I wish I was here. I am here. No matter where you go, there you are.
Here we go.
And we have a little film crew with us filming. We've got Juan and Allegra, so people will check out a video of this.
Yeah.
He's been filming for 15 years, and she's been filming for 5, and they were a couple. They worked together. So, along with Gabo from Radar MTB.
These guys did the Matt Jones video.
They did the Matt Jones video. Shredding with a EWS lady too. Who was it? There was a girl with him too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When Matt Jones was here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there was
Nicole's
a girl.
field. What was her name? Nicole.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Who's
Martha
Gill? Martha Gill. Yeah. But check out the Matt Jones video. Totally awesome. And,
Same people with us right now.
Yeah, they're running the camera
And then-
over there right now.
A week ago, I rode with Holly. She was in Peru filming for like a girls group,
Okay.
and we got together with all the local Peruvian girls as well, and all went on the road together.
Yeah.
And we didn't know we'd be riding together in Ecuador.
That's awesome. So if people want to ride with you, what do they have to contact at Haku Expeditions, and make sure that they can prove that they're a good enough rider,
Right?
to ride.
Yeah, the questionnaire is like 490 pages, so just fill that out. And we'll get back to you.
You might be able to come.
Send some videos.
Don't lie. I know.
I can tell.
We check Facebook profiles.
Oh man. And they can rent a bike if they want.
Yeah,
In
we have a
Peru.
rental fleet.
In
In
Peru.
Peru, you can.
We will have a rental fleet here too.
Yeah.
But they can rent a bike in Peru.
That's awesome.
We have 510s to rent.
Yeah, we have
Full face,
all the gear.
All the gear, yeah.
Full faces, half shells, race
Camel
face knee
packs.
pads.
Yeah.
Same
Everything
stuff
you need.
we wear, we rent.
Yeah.
So
We got shoes because most people are showing up in their trekking shoes, and it's just not as safe.
You need the 510 rubber.
Yeah, you
yeah.
do.
Yeah, totally.
510. Don't forget about us.
Boom. Well, that's awesome. I hope people come and check it out because it's one of the best times I've ever had on a mountain bike. And
Yeah, for sure.
you guys are awesome.
Thanks.
And you
Yeah.
have a whole bunch of cool family and very cool friends, and you hire good people who are fun to be around, and you guys are into having fun, and that's what you sell is mountain biking.
That's our philosophy.
And a good time.
Yeah. And supporting the local economy.
And doing that.
You know, like we actually go out of our way. We have a car in Peru and we could easily use it for all of our trips and make more money, but we hire out drivers because we just want to give work. When we left the mission, in the first few months, it was like, this is really weird. All of a sudden, we're living for ourselves. You know, we had been helping people for 7 years, and it was just kind of a really weird reality. And the thing we realized, the best thing we could do was give people work. Give people work, either education or work.
Honest work, you know.
Yeah, honest work, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's part of our philosophy.
Yeah,
You know?
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Share the wealth.
And
Socialism from the heart.
before we go though, you also mentioned that not only do you speak Spanish, but you speak the
I speak a little bit of
Pull
Quechua.
it out. Pull it out. Come on. Pull it out.
And Quechua is the original.
It's the Inca language, yeah.
Quechua.
It's Inca
So
language.
when you're up in the trails and stuff, especially in Peru, sometimes you might find yourself in need of some help and stuff. So if you know a little bit, it makes things much easier. You know, you're speaking the local language and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can ask for things where you are, how you doing. Do they have any chicha, which is like the Inca beer, you know, so I can say things like that.
Ask someone how are you or say something.
How
in
are you?
Quechua.
Is Ayachu Kashanki.
Ayami. So I just
That's
replied.
I'm doing good.
Okay. Something else.
Ahata Kashan is there chicha. Imansutiki. That's
Nicole.
what's your name?
I just answered.
Donde mai pinin rashingichu. Donde vas?
Tupananchis kama.
And how old is that language?
Tupanachis kama is like I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
So you Tupanachis kama.
Yeah.
That was like that.
They just laugh. They love this.
Yeah. Well,
It's good to speak the local language a little bit. You know, I wish I was fluent in it, but
yeah.
it helps.
He
But
can
it
make
shows a
jokes.
sign of respect that you're making an effort
Yeah,
to even.
totally. I
And
used to
probably
know
surprises
more.
them seeing a
Yeah,
couple.
and
Yeah.
he can make
White
jokes
people.
too. So it's not just like those couple words. He can actually pull out jokes and like make a joke about.
Well, that's
me
a
or
custom
something, and
we have for
people
the
love
end
it.
of the Red TV podcast. You have to tell us a joke in Quechua.
Oh man, what? I can't do that.
Quechua?
There you can.
Yeah. Ayachu Kashangichu. Mayampin. Cusco. Manan. Cusco Mayan. No.
That's only for people that speak Quechua. There you go.
Oh god, they're gonna call me out so bad.
All the people in Peru. But they're probably laughing.
Yeah, yeah.
Either way.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, totally.
Right on.
Sorry if I destroyed your language, my fellow Quechua people.
Well, there's been lots of jokes in the bus, lots of fun. We got more writing to do. Thanks for coming on the Red TV podcast.
Yeah,
And
thanks
good
for
luck
having
with
us, man.
Haku Expeditions into the future, and can't wait to find out who the next pro rider is that people can ride with. So that's it for me, and that's it for them. Thanks for coming on the show, everybody.
Thanks, bud.
Thank
Right
you.
on. And for a special bonus feature, we might interview some of the people who are on this tour right now. But for now, see you later. Thanks for checking out, everybody.
Bye.
Hopefully see you one day.
Yeah.
Come ride with us.
Sure.
It's a blast.
Yeah, do it. It's fun.